What is up, everyone? Circon is here, bringing you guys another review. We've been pumping these out like a madman lately, but you guys are enjoying them as far as I can tell, looking by the viewership and the comments and all that, so thank you very much for that support. But today, we're going to take a look at the IS-6 and the IS-6B, or the IS-6 Black, I guess. So what are the changes to it? The aiming time went down significantly from 3.4 to 2.8. It got 7 more shells, and dispersion went from 0.46 to 44. Also a fairly big deal. And then this thing again, where the 175 mil pen and the AP shells went to 186, and this APCR went from 217 to 225. And this actually, I wasn't expecting. The armor thickness on the gun mantlet, the upper glacis plate, and the bilge plates, I probably butchered this name, okay? Also went up slightly from 100 to 110, and increased the thickness of the driver hatch from 110 to 120 millimeters. Now, it's all cool to look at it this way, but let's just take a look at the 3D model itself and what kind of armor you're dealing with here, right? So this is the new one, and the effective armor is around 210, 204, and then on the driver hatch, it is significantly more. It's like, so it's the 210 here, but it has this weird angling on it that it can go all the way to 230. And then I believe by bilge plates, they mean these things, right? So these things went up as well. Like I like to call them more like shoulder plates almost. That's what they remind me of. But yeah, as you can see, the sides here are almost 300 where you're not angled. So if you're just, you need to basically shoot center mass. You need a lot of pen to get through an IS-6 actually. And then the turret also is looking pretty good. And then the cupolas are still weak spots at 150, but again, it's 150. You're going to meet tier 6 every once in a while. They're going to have issues penning you here. And almost 200 in the lower plate as well. So even the lower plate is not that weak. And what I found that this armor actually holds out pretty well. I've been playing this for a whole bunch of games. I 3-marked the IS-6. And I had an IS-6B. I think somebody gifted it to me back in the day. And I have a 3-mark that. So I was playing that for review purposes, basically. And as you can see, the armor is just really... It's just insane. Like, the whole armor layout here of the turret is crazy. And there's about 7 million different armor plates in, like, the gun mantlet area. So, yeah. You basically need to shoot it right in the middle with, like, 210 pen at least to reliably pen it. And you can also side scrape like a boss, because the only thing you have to worry about is that your shoulder plates will be less angled, so they will actually be, more of a weak spot. But you can peek out, and the chances of them hitting this in comparison to your turret and all that, I found myself able to side scrape pretty damn well in this. And people kind of panic when facing this thing a little bit, because like people either underestimate you and start bouncing, or they start thinking too much about what they should shoot, and then they lose the precious reload seconds that I will be pumping shots back into them, right? And also there's a thing where you could definitely like overmatch the roofs here. I've done this to other IS-6s. So if you have a large caliber gun, you can definitely go for the roof as well. And fighting other IS-6s, I found myself trying to hit the weak spot on top and then actually hitting the roof and penning that instead, so... that's something to keep in mind. It's a fairly robust little vehicle. It has really trolley armor. Like, you have surprise bounces everywhere because of the way it's angled, like a fucking UFO, basically. So, yeah, the back is obviously pretty damn weak. The back is not even weak enough for a lot of HE guns, at least. So, no nasty surprises there. People try to, meme a little bit with the HE shells. But overall, I actually think this armor layout is pretty damn good. And now after the buffs, it actually does feel a little bit better, even though some of the changes with like 10 extra millimeters doesn't sound like a lot, but this one went up by, let's see, 20 to 40 millimeters. So that's a huge deal. And the driver hatch increase from 110 to 120 as well just, makes the whole thing a lot more troll than it probably should be in a lot of cases. I've said this before about the limited matchmaking changes, limited matchmaking tank changes, I should say, is that, like, while these changes feel good now, I feel like if the matchmaking actually gets more competitive in terms of you're going to meet more lower tiers as you're going to be seeing higher tiers or something like that, then this tank is going to wreck tier 6s and 7s, like, absolutely destroy them. You're going to destroy so many tier 6s and 7s, it's actually pretty crazy, okay? And I do like the fact that they make the aim time and the dispersion finally not super derp. Like, it's more than workable now. Because you also have a 122 mil gun, so you're going to be overmatching a lot. And the other huge advantage that this has over, say, the Chinese vehicles is that this thing has APCR. Which means you go from about 800 meters a second velocity to almost 1,000. So you have a fast shell of high caliber, 122 mil, with pretty decent pen, 225. I mean, a lot of tier 9s are gonna shrug that off, and a lot of tanks in tier 9 you are gonna just do nothing against. It's just the truth, right? But a lot of tanks in tier 8, and then the lower tier you go, you know, the AP and APR will be more than enough. So it's a little bit benchmaking dependent, and if the benchmaking changes in such a way that you're going to see as much top tier as you're going to see lower tier, then I think this is going to be a pretty damn strong tank, actually. So anyway, the way I was running it, and if you want to take a look at the other stats, by the way, we go 35 kilometers an hour, you have 14 power to weight, you have 6 degrees of gun depression, and this is the one thing that's always super Russian, is that you don't have any fuel range. You have 350, and that's actually pretty important, because even with all the all the whistles and bells on it, bells and whistles, so food, I'm running Brothers in Arms, running recon, running situational awareness, and running optics, anything short of like adding vents to this, you only have 430 fuel range, which is actually quite a bit below the fuel range that you want to get, which is 445. So keep that in mind. You're going to be blind as a bat in most scenarios. Being a premium, you know, it's almost half expected that you'll have a decent crew playing this. But if you're buying this as a new player or something like that, and you don't have all these shenanigans, keep in mind you're going to be absolutely blind as a bat, okay? You're not going to see anything, basically. Now, on some maps you don't need it, like Paris, you know, Himmelsdorf, but I'm always a huge advocate of always trying to get as close to 445 view range as possible, just because it will help out your games tremendously. And it is actually almost worth sacrificing like a gun rammer almost for it to get the ventilation, which will get you 438, but still not enough. But anyway, this is the way I was running it. So optics, gun rammer, and third snaps. I was running a large repair kit and food as well. Now this is a little bit of a try-hard setup, of course, and this will cut into your, you know, your credit making. So if you're playing this to just train up your crew, use this layout, right? If you're doing it just to grind credits, you might want to run a small repair kit, but I'd actually still recommend using food at all times. But, you know, kind of have to do however you feel about it. Like, if you don't feel like you're the greatest player, then just don't run food, because it's going to cost you like 10 to 20k a game. Crew layout, as far as I can tell, was actually pretty nice, and a lot of things followed a similar layout. So your commander is also your radio guy, and then gunner, driver, loader. So I don't think there were any real big issues there. So yes, with all this in mind, let's take a look at the review, shall we? So we find ourselves here on a Paris and 510 matchmaking. I've said so many times before, under the old matchmaking, or under the current matchmaking, I should say, this is your matchmaking almost every single time. You're going to be facing 5 tier 9s, and you're going to be facing 10 tier 8s. Now, there's no artillery, but we're also playing on Paris, so artillery was a little bit less of an issue if it was here. And you can already tell that some of these things in the enemy team, we are never, ever gonna pen in a straight-up fight. We're never gonna pen a Type 4. We're never gonna do anything against the Emil unless he gives us this, like, lower plate hull. The 263, we need to hit the lower plate, and even that is not a reliable pen for this gun. And then, you know, at tier 8, Tiger 2s, VKA, WZ, Lorraine, Raffaelli, Progetto, STA1, CDA, Scorpion are all easy pens. The WZ 120, we need at least a lower plate, and I think that might even be yellow pen lower plate with this AP shell, alright? So, some games, you're gonna be facing Ohos, and you're gonna be facing, like, the VKP at tier 8, the German one. You're gonna meet all those super heavies, and you're just gonna be asking yourself, what the fuck am I playing? Because those things are just... They're super heavies at tier 8 that you basically cannot do anything with, alright? Frontally. You're gonna need to be outplaying them, you're gonna need you need tracking shots. You know, if for example you're fighting an Oho and he shoots you, you both cross shots, right? You try and track him with the first one, try and get around, make him waste his repair kits or something. You need to kind of work with that, alright? Because you're never gonna win a straight up fight against against those super heavies. But as you can see, you're not always going to be facing the super heavy. So if you're facing Tiger 2s, Fika A's, WZ-111s, and those can be troublesome, by the way, you still need APCR for the lower plates. Lorraine's Raffaello, so you can see over half the enemy team we can still pen really easily with AP, but as you can see by my layout, or ammo layout, I'm rocking 10 AP and 25 APCR. Now, one thing that is sorta nice about running APCR in this tank is that it is 390 alpha, which means that your credits per damage done is pretty high. As we talked about in, for example, the Caravan Action X, that tank has like 230 alpha and the shell cost is almost the same, but you're gonna get less damage out of it. So spamming, let's say, spamming APCR in this tank is nowhere near as destructive to your credits as spamming the APCR of lower caliber guns that usually the mediums at tier 8 have. Most of them anyway. So it is, if you make your shots count, you will run at least usually even, if not still running a profit whilst using APCR on this tank. So when you find yourself against these things, like say for example an email lower, like an email 2 lower plate or something, or the 263 lower plate, you kind of almost always need an APCR. Funnily enough, because after all these buffs, you know, it just needs about 200 AP pen, I'd say. And then it needs a little bit higher APCR shell, maybe. Just like I said during the other review of the 112, the 112, the Chinese line, which has the same pen values, but the heat is 250. And I said, well, I'd rather have APCR with lower pen. And this is basically what the IS-6 provides. It gives you a fast APCR shell that is just nice to use. And you can see here, you know, we're bouncing a CDA, which is really high base pen. And then he tries to be cautious here, and he's like, alright, I'm going to aim one more time, and I'm already fully aimed by that point. And that's another thing you should be doing. Never stand still too much in an IS-6, right? Right after you shoot, you want to go forward. Right after it. Just try and make it as tricky as possible for these people to shoot you, right? And this Tiger 2 is being cheeky. And here again, you might not see it, but right after I shoot, I go back right away. No hesitation, right? You always want to be, you know, a little bit moving. You always want to try your best side scraping. Don't rely on the fact that you have some armor. Just make it always as difficult as you can, and you will get the most out of this, like, troll layout, basically. Well, anyway, back to the game. We lost, what, half our team already, as we shoot the Progetto 46 in the face, and he bounces off us. We lost half the team. We own not even a quarter of the map. And Paris is just doing its Paris thing, and my people up north did basically nothing. We lost 2 tier 9s already. They only lost 1 tank. Alright, we're up against 14 other tanks right now. And this is where it counts. Again, right after I shoot, I start moving. He still pens us. WZ comes in. Try my best to angle, make it as awkward as possible. And he bounces off. Then the Fika A is being a bit of a dork, and he gives me his inner tracks there, basically. So he is tracked now, and I'm like, Super Pershing? Hello, Super Pershing, if you could help me, that'd be great. But he's holding off against the Mongolian horde there as well, so I guess I can't be too mad. And then I shoot him in the side again. And again, I went forward, because as you can see, my gun is now can't even shoot the VK. And he was only able to shoot my tracks. And this guy is shooting APCR by now. And so are we with that shell, because we ran out of our 10 AP shells. And, yeah, the Raffaelli kills the 111, the WZ-111. And now I'm just going to go past here. The enemy Raffaelli there shows up. And the 430 just pens me that like that, I don't know, probably right through my gun or something? Something weird. You can see here, there's like a weird gun marker. This might be a bounce from earlier. So 430 is there, and he's side scraping. And I'm like, you know what, have some HE, and we hit him for the last 150. Like, this HE is 530. So it's pretty nice, and it's still a relatively high caliber. So I loaded another HE, don't really ask me why. I see that Raffaelli is behind me, so I'm gonna push up. I basically hide behind this little thing here, as hopefully my team can take him out. Scorpion takes out. Raffaelli's like, I can't really move out. And now I'm just like, alright, we gotta push. You know, we're getting some kills finally. Aim a little bit, and completely whiff the shot there. The Raffaelli comes in. Can we not give him his side? And he still pens us, unfortunately, right in the side. I think it could have been a bounce or so, and he's getting overly confident now. So we just shot him down, and now we actually are on 242 health. They still have their damn Emil 2 and the Type 4 and a whole lot of other tanks, and we're kind of holding on and coming back now, because remember, we were fighting 14 people, and I killed 4, the Raffaelli killed 4, so now we're a little bit back in business. The Super Pershing also killed 1, which means there's like 6 enemy tanks left now. The E-75 kills the Tiger 2, And that Type 4 is still there, the Emil is still there. The 120 is on 330 health. We know the Progetto is like a 2-shot. So what I'm doing here, in case you're wondering, like, oh, why is my tank not going any faster? I'm actually purposely pushing this Pershing forward so I can be hauled down behind it as we're going to peek on the left. So I'm going to reverse a little bit, and then I'm going to, like, side scrape. And I'm going to do this as safe as we can because we know that the Progetto is somewhere here. And then we're going to be really, really cheeky. And he's like, and he thought he might have a shot, but obviously we were hauled out as all hell. And now the Emil 2 is coming in, and I'm just hoping, like, please don't kill me. And now we're hiding from him. We know the Progetto is there. We see that our Ravioli behind us, if you look at the minimap, as I shoot the rubble away. Because I'm not sure if I can shoot through it, honestly. So I just shoot the rubble away with APCR. Nice credit juice there. That was really good. Obviously, we're out of all the other shells. And then the Emil is going to be super dangerous, of course, behind the rubble. Like, if he's hauled down, we're never going to be able to pet him. But now, he's getting a little bit overconfident. And the Löwe is going to shoot him there in the side. So he's going to panic a little bit. I get a little bit of spotting as well. Rovain starts peeking. He's actually looking towards our Ravioli friend on the left who just killed the Progetto. So we get a nice little shot there. And we're just going to try to make the most of this Emil 2 because the Type 4 is now going to kill the E-75. They're almost always derp guns, so he doesn't need to pen or anything. The E-75 wisely decides to shoot the Emil. The Löwe kills the Emil, and now it's the Type 4 against us 3 tier 8. And I'm just trying to book it as fast as possible here on the flat ground and try to not get HE'd because we need to work together now because we're all just going to die to this guy otherwise. So we're taking a look here. The Type 4 is looking for a shot, trying to derp me maybe. I'm trying even to not show my tank too much on the side of the ridge either. And he actually shoots the Ravioli behind us, and he has at least like a 14-15 second reload. So we're gonna go in, and this is all you can do against the Type 4 is shoot the flat sides as much as you can. The Löwe shoots him as well, very nice shot. And this is where we say good night, and we come back from basically it was about 6 tanks against 14 with a pretty big comeback as we do like 4,000 damage. We almost block 3,000 and we get 306 assistance. So really good game there. Hopefully kind of showcasing what the tank is all about as well. As you can see, I shot all my AP away. Most of the AP actually hit something as well. We used APCR to shoot some rubble away as well. But anyway, let's just take a quick look here at the post-game stats, shall we? So here we are. We got the ace. I don't know if the ace requirements in this thing are high or not. We also got the steel wall. We got the top gun. We were spotting and shooting almost the entire enemy team. We got 1,551 base XP. With the last kill, we actually got the top gun as well. And as you can see, we got like fire for effect, shell proof, bruiser, duelist, hand of god, steel wall, and the top gun. Very nice indeed. And I actually, if you go, I played this live on the Twitch channel, of course, and I actually gave this Löwe and Ravioli a shout out as well because they were playing really well. And basically the tier 8s carried here, like, and then this tier 9 did something, and then the E-75 at least stayed alive till the end and did some damage. But we also had people that just did absolutely nothing, right? Then the detailed report, you will see some really crazy credits here, right? And that's because I'm running a personal reserve that gives me 50% extra credits. And the Halloween event is on, which gives me another crazy amount of credits. So we made like almost 300k before ammo costs and stuff. So basically, if without all these events and stuff, we'd run 54 and then 10k for the food consumable, which was half off. And then 6k for the repairing of the vehicle. Even without all these bonuses, we would have made around roughly 50,000 credits here for doing 4,000 damage, which is pretty damn good, right? That's pretty decent. And then also the XP is all over the place because we also get personal reserves bonus and mission payouts and whatnot. So we got like 8,000 XP, but don't mind that. You should look at this, 2,327 and 1,551. And then without a premium account, we probably run, let's see, 64, 70k. We would have only made like 9,000 credits. So keep that in mind. But yeah, anyway, the IS-6 Black or the IS-6B, they're both the same tank. They're just, you know, the one is black. I don't know, it was a weird period like 2 years ago. The Wargaming probably wants to forget about it. But anyway, the IS-6, I think it's actually a pretty solid tank. I kind of enjoy playing it because it's just about fast enough with just about enough power to weight The armor is troll enough. And then the gun, I really like the fact that they changed the aiming time. It was one of my major gripes, and I actually free marked the old IS-6 with the really shitty aiming time and even worse dispersion. So I think the aiming time one is really, really nice. I still think that this AP shell should be around 200 pen, given the amount of super heavies and stuff you see everywhere. But again, I'm also kind of hesitant about saying this, because if they change the matchmaking where you see a lot more tier 6s and 7s, this thing is going to absolutely destroy. And this is one of my gripes with +2, -2 matchmaking as well, that a lot of tanks feel that they're too good at being top tier, and then also a little bit too bad when they're not top tier. And this thing only sees +1, of course. And at the moment, and certainly when I release this video, most of your games are going to be 5-10 matchmaking, so you're going to be needing a lot of APCR shells. So in terms of making actual credits, not really worth it. I think if you were looking for a crew trainer, it's actually pretty decent, I'd say. And of course, there's things like the Defender out there that they're probably never going to sell again, or maybe they're going to sell again. Who knows? It's wargaming. And, you know, will those make better money? Probably, but I actually don't think the IS-6 is that bad. It's maybe worth a purchase if you're looking for a crew trainer. Probably not under the current matchmaking, worth it to earn credits with, though. But all that said, though, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little replay and enjoyed the review of the IS-6. Share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. I always like reading it. If I got something wrong or something, let me know. If you enjoyed the videos, let me know. And maybe check out some of my other videos. I've done a lot of reviews over the last 2 weeks. So yeah, if there's another thing you want to check out, there's some videos up on the screen now. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.